She stared at the screen. Frozen. Her heart broke all over again. She turned off her phone and screamed, "Why, Tom? Why did you leave me like this?" She fell to the floor and sobbed. Emma stopped eating properly. She stopped laughing. Her room became dark. Her mind full of pain. Every corner of the house reminded her of Tom. The coffee mug he gave her. The sweater he left behind. The book they read together. Everything spoke of memories. And every memory hurt.
While her husband worked late, Grace managed everything, the house, the kids, the pain. But no one ever said, "Thank you." She cooked with love, but her food was taken for granted. She smiled through tiredness, but nobody asked, "How are you feeling?" Some nights, Grace cried in the bathroom, not because she was weak, but because she was strong for too long. "Why is the dinner late? You don't earn. What do you even do all day? Stop being dramatic." Words that cut deeper than knives. But she said nothing, because she loved them. One day, her daughter Emma came home from school and said, "Mom, why don't you work like other moms?" Grace's heart broke. Even her own children didn't understand. That night, she opened her old notebook and read her first poem again. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She whispered, "Who am I now?" The next morning, something changed. She sent her husband and kids to school and work. Then she sat down and started to write again. One story, then another. Then a full book. Months passed. Her book got published. It was titled, "The Woman in the Mirror." It became a bestseller. It touched millions of hearts. It was her story, hidden in fiction. Her husband read the book and cried for the first time. He saw himself in the careless husband. He saw Grace's pain through her words. He apologized. Grace sat on the edge of her bed after everyone had gone to sleep. The house was silent, yet her mind was full of noise, not of arguments or worries, but of the echo of emptiness. She looked at the wall, where old family photos hung, smiling faces, happy memories, but behind every smile in those pictures, she remembered her silence. She whispered to herself, "Why do I feel so alone when I'm surrounded by the people I love most?" She wasn't angry. She wasn't bitter. She was tired of not being. One afternoon, while cleaning the attic, Grace found a dusty box filled with her old diaries and poems. She sat on the floor, flipping through yellowed pages. Her hands trembled as she read her 18-year-old self's words. "I want to write stories that touch hearts, stories that bring people to tears and give them hope." She smiled sadly. Where did that girl go? Just then, her daughter Emma called from downstairs. "Mom, I can't find my socks." Grace closed the book, hid her tears, and replied, "I'm coming, honey." But inside, her dream had just woken up. That night, she took out her laptop and stared at the blank screen. Her fingers hovered over the keys. "I don't know if I can still write," she whispered. But something inside her, that small voice, said, "Try." So she did. She wrote for 10 minutes, then an hour, then the whole night. And for the first time in years, she didn't feel tired. She felt alive. One day, Grace received an email. "Dear Grace Turner, we are delighted to inform you that your manuscript, The Woman in the Mirror, has been accepted for publication." She froze. Tears filled her eyes. After 18 years, someone had finally seen her. Not as a wife, not as a mother, but as Grace, the writer. She sat on the floor, and cried, not because she was sad, but because for the first time in forever, she felt proud of herself. One day, Grace received an email. Dear Grace Turner, we are delighted to inform you that your manuscript, The Woman in the Mirror, has been accepted for publication. She froze. Tears filled her eyes. After 18 years, someone had finally seen her. Not as a wife, not as a mother, but as Grace, the writer. She sat on the floor and cried, not because she was sad, but because for the first time in forever, she felt proud of herself. Liam found the book, lying on the table. He picked it up and started reading. At first, he thought it was just fiction, but by chapter 5, he knew it was her pain, her silence, her sacrifices. When Grace came home, he stood silently, eyes filled with tears. I didn't know, he whispered. She didn't reply. She just looked at him, eyes soft but tired. He knelt down and said, I'm sorry, I never saw you, but now I do. One morning, Emma came to her mom holding the book. Mom, she said shyly. I read it. Grace's heart skipped. What did you think? Emma hugged her tightly and whispered, I never knew how much you gave up for us. You're not just my mom, you're my hero. Grace started being invited to interviews, podcasts, and women's events. She didn't seek fame. She only wanted to remind women, you are not just someone's mother or wife. You are you, and that is enough. The Woman in the Mirror. One evening, Grace stood in front of the mirror. She looked at her reflection. For years she saw a tired, aging woman. But now, she saw a warrior. She saw strength. She saw a woman who chose herself, not out of selfishness, but out of healing. She smiled and whispered, Welcome back. Moral of the story. Never forget who you are. Your love is important. Your dreams are important. Your silence does not make you weak.